as always, Matt, my sidekick is here. Brett's hanging out behind the cameras today, watching everything and looking for live viewer questions. We decided we had to push it a week early due to scheduling conflicts and stuff like that. So we got Nick in a week early to come in, hang out. Eleanor came with. I don't know if you guys can see her, but she's hanging out. So it's pretty cool stuff. We wanted to have Nick on, do, I don't know, try and help him out with his podcast. He's helping us out with our podcast and keep things moving forward. Again, this is our very generic podcast. We're growing, so you guys can watch this show build.
Budget cuts.
Budget cuts!
That's it.
So that's what we're doing. Matt, you got anything? Or?
Not right yet. I'm getting set up.
Matt says hi. Welcome to Facebook and YouTube Live. We've got our chief sign behind us saying you can find us on all these platforms and more. We're signing up with a, we're going to sign up with a hosting company that will we'll be able to broadcast through more platforms and keep it going. So we want to kind of check that out and share our info with Nick. He's going to share his info with us, and we'll keep it going, man. So we'll cut right to it, dude. We wanted you on. We're going to talk shop today and bullshit and everything else, and just keep it going live. So what got you into building, my man?
Man, for me it was my dad and my grandpa.
Yeah?
For sure.
Oh yeah.
It's been really since I was about her age, less than a year, in the garage every night. Haven't been able to get away from it ever since, so I'm stuck with it now, I'd say.
It's an addiction for sure. I was the same way, and bikes obviously took over for me. Being the kid on my bicycle with our goofy old school bikes and handlebars and all that stuff, leaning on the bars, watching the motorcycles go by. I'm like, man, those guys were so cool. And it just never left. But yeah, that's good stuff. My dad had a lot to do with it as well, so that's good stuff, working in the garage, learning all kinds of stuff.
That's it. Get bit by the bug real early.
Yeah, you get the bug bites. So when you guys are building, how do you balance your builds, man?
It gets tricky sometimes. I guess it depends on the size of the project. I mean, some of the stuff, just like you guys, it's some of the smaller stuff you can give a really accurate number right up front. And maintenance is one thing. You bring it in, you're doing oil changes, tires, things like that.
Yep.
You can tell them this is what it is. You do it. If you'll charge for parts up front, you get that stuff done. You bill them
That
monthly.
stuff's easy to look up as you're going. It's quickie.
But when you're a year, 2 years into building something, sometimes longer, you got parts issues, you've got, vendor
Fabrication
issues, fab
issues.
issues, anything like that.
Yeah.
Sending stuff back and forth places, outsourcing, anything like that, they take longer. It works a little bit better to kind of bill as you go.
Yep. I
And
get
you
it.
kind of have no choice. I really don't like when customers pay too large up front. It's
Makes you feel like you're behind the bullet, so to speak, or behind the gun. Yeah, for
so
sure.
It usually works best to just kind of respectable deposit, take that in, get things ordered up, get them moving, and just charge them as you go.
We tried to go as far as to, on a lot of these custom builds, we've tried to set up with the bank to where we can start a bank account with the client and us.
Mm-hmm.
They can see the activity that's going on the account and know when that hits a certain number, make another deposit. We can correspond through email, text message, phone call, however it works. Have them stop in and see the progress on the build. We've tried that a couple of times and it seems to work.
Mm-hmm.
That one actually seems to work, so I don't know if that's an avenue to go or.
That and, some of the larger projects, every now and then, you get lucky, you get a customer that'll, do a credit card specifically for the build, or.
Finance it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That'll help keep track of things a little bit better on their end as well, and, sometimes you just gotta go with what keeps the customer comfortable, and if they're not comfortable with anything and they don't wanna play ball at all, then they got no business building anything.
There you go. There you go. Some guys want to build way outside their budget. They got big dreams, hopes, and dreams, and sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
Well, and talking budget, that's pretty much in the custom world. You have to expect that you're going to go over budget, correct?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We try our best. Right? We honestly try our best to shoot even, but
Sometimes it's the customer, right? I mean,
The
they
project
see the
always
work,
changes.
they see the work going on and they're liking it, so they're gonna want more.
They always want more, they end up changing something and they add to it. Hey, while we're in there, can't we just do this too? Can't we do that too?
since you're there,
Yep,
hey, why you got paint in the guy?
more power,
Yeah.
bigger wheels, lower ride height, it's always kind of
It-
snowballs, every
Well,
project tends to
a
snowball.
lot of people tend to think since you're right there working on it anyway, it's nothing for you to go over there and do another part of the job, and it's actually a pretty major thing.
Yeah.
To switch gears all of a sudden and bounce back and forth on this stuff. So yeah, it's I can see the challenges. I know you guys have the same struggles we have, so that's why we wanted you on first. It's just how it goes, man. Hell yeah, that led right into the next question anyway, so that was awesome. So I wrote a list of questions and had them all down. We were figuring we'd shoot 10, 11 questions and then just shoot from the hip or whatever. Moving right along. Do you think people are sticking with the traditional builds or are they going more retro mod?
Everything's going more resto mod now for sure. People love the convenience of, modern drivability. It's easier. I mean, anything you go by now, doesn't matter what you're driving. You get in it, you turn the key or push that little button.
Yep.
It fires right up. Any weather, any altitude, anything. And modern horsepower. Go buy the cheapest 4-cylinder car you can get your hands on, and then compare that to an old 4-cylinder car from the 80s.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
it's-
compare that to any 6-cylinder car from the 80s. It's got
That
just
too.
as much horsepower.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
the new pickup trucks and stuff now.
Oh.
I mean, it's
the
Unbelievable
turbos that they're
what
putting
they're
in,
squeezing out of them.
tiny little turbos, but they're squeezing power out of those things. It's great.
Yep.
So yeah, that's cool stuff. So you think it's going more retro and
Yeah, that's majority of what we
LS
seem to deal with.
LS swaps and modern suspension, all that good stuff?
Yeah, yeah, and then even we've got a few, even currently, a couple restorations going on that guys are still running more a couple of them have the original motors in them. They've just gone through and cleaned them up, and they're upgrading to fuel injection. 4-wheel disc brakes, things like that, just to try to
Important
get the
stuff.
car. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's technology that if they had what we have now when they were building those cars, it would have been on them.
I just laugh. I'm not a real big firm believer in anti-lock brakes. I don't care for them personally. I think a seatbelt is really all you need. But back in the day, nobody ever wore them. We had lap belts back when I started driving. We didn't have the ones that went over your shoulder, but well, they were folded, tucked way up high.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand the 4-wheel. I understand the whole concept behind it. But I don't know.
Well, and I mean, there are some companies offering, maybe some aftermarket ABS type things, but we haven't dealt with it. I don't know how I would feel about an aftermarket technology like that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
definitely even just from a maintenance standpoint, to switch something over to disc brake. I'm young, I can still do drums.
Yeah.
But most people can't, my age. A lot of people
Stand
younger
on
than me
it.
definitely can't.
Cannot.
So, disc brakes, it's easier for the owner to maintain,
Hell
do a
yeah.
brake job, things like that. I mean, it is definitely, it takes a lot of the complication out of it for people. Tends to keep costs down a little bit as well for, labor time doing a brake job on those
Big
cars.
time.
And I guess they're gonna send something like that usually to a specialty facility anyways.
Yeah.
Generally it goes back to the builder. They usually have them do the maintenance, but
Well, today's day and age, I don't know how many guys are using tools or what they're doing anymore, but disc brakes is what they know.
Yeah.
They've never been around a drum and they see a drum, they're like, what the hell is that? What are shoes? It's kind of funny. So yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Do you have any advice on someone wanting to start a hot rod shop or a motorcycle shop? Because you guys deal with both.
it's
I mean,
here and there.
here and there.
We
Us
don't
too.
build bikes, so don't ask us to. Definitely.
He's got to say that on camera.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't want to get into any of that.
No.
No, we don't mind painting them. That's definitely, if paint will stick to something. I don't mind painting.
Paint sticks to damn near everything. Look at me. I'm covered in it all.
Yeah,
the
me
time.
usually too.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
best advice to
Nick and I get together and match welding burns and paint on, like, what color are you wearing today?
Yeah. Got it all off this time, almost.
Yeah.
Um, Best advice would be probably, what do you think? What's the
What do
best
you think?
advice?
What's best? Yeah?
There you go.
Hot rod shop? Too funny.
So
Sorry.
if anybody, so Nick's shop is set up, kind of like our shop set up, where they do everything in-house, except, like dyno tune motors, stuff like that, but full builds, custom fabrication. Nick does his own paint in-house
We're
as
getting Illinois.
well. So, which is kind of cool. That's why we could kind of go back and forth, because our shops are pretty much set up structurally the same, where we try and do everything in-house, they try and do everything in-house as well.
Share knowledge back and forth, share tools back and forth, share everything back and forth. Hey, kiddo. What's happening?
Got my sidekick with me.
Oh, yeah? What's up, Eleanor? This is Eleanor. We at Chi-South Customs are not afraid to exploit your children for our own personal gain. Well, that's
Hit
awesome.
that
It's
like
your
and share
first
button
interview.
for the baby.
On that like and share button for the baby. That's awesome. All right, well, that's cool, man. So, trying to get, like, if they are definitely going to start a shop, or they're thinking about starting a shop, or they want to start a shop, what are some of, like, the must-have tools and must-have skills that they're going to need for this?
I mean, I guess depending on how in-depth they're looking to go, if they're looking to go as in-depth as we do, definitely, I mean, you gotta have the basics.
Yeah.
Torches, welder, basic cutting tools, things like that. Obviously, you have to have your, all your mechanical type tools and everything, but,
Skill set.
don't be afraid to work within the tooling you have as well. I mean, that'd be the biggest thing. So start with what you can afford and work your way up from there. And I mean, the biggest piece of advice, and it doesn't have to just be even this industry, professionalism.
Very much so. Very much so.
So how do you feel, that being said, how do you feel about the quote-unquote garage builder? I mean, there's some guys that could, same thing with bikes, they can build a phenomenal bike, they could build a phenomenal car in their garage at home. I'm sure you've seen some kind of butchered jobs, where guys say, I could build this car. And then it comes to you and you're like, oh man. I mean, what do you say about guys like that? Are they charging too much? Do they just not have the knowledge? Are they?
I think that goes, that kind of goes into, they definitely try to bite off more than they can chew. But like you said, there's a lot of talented garage builders out there. I mean, when we wander around a show, I tend to, I mean, you can't discredit any of the big builders and any of the top level vehicles at all, whether it's bikes, cars, boats, whatever it ends up being. But when you're wandering through a show, majority of what you're going to see is a guy that put a car together in the garage with his kid or his neighbor or his cousins, family members, things like that. And I really have a lot more respect for those guys that really take the time and do it to the best of their ability. They're the ones that, they got a normal job, whatever that job is, and they come home after work and they put in the time, to do the car. And they ask questions to guys like us. And, they're poking around online, and, I mean, people want to knock the guys that, might be YouTube certified.
YouTube certified, that's what I always, I make that joke all the time. We're gonna get that sewn on our uniforms. We are YouTube certified.
Sometimes all it takes is that little, you figure it out on your own. You're still the one doing the work. So as far as those guys go, I mean, if they're building for themselves, absolutely. But when it comes to starting to take a bunch of customers, they try to undercut somebody who's, established a facility and they have their clientele and they pay for insurance and they make payroll for their employees. And, if you're planning to take it to that level, that's one thing. But if you're just going to try to stick in the garage and undercut the guys that have the insurance for it and stuff, and you're going to try to fly under the radar, it's not a sustainable thing. They run into issues, and you really got to be careful there, I guess. But again, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Everybody's got to start
I feel
somewhere.
like that's where the rat rod and rat bike type builds start. Guys think that, which is cool. I think that it kind of became real popular. Where a guy sees something and, hey, I could do that, and so starts trying to weld in his garage, and it doesn't matter what the welds look like.
No.
Hey, as long as they're strong, it stays together, cool.
You probably have it the same way we do. We've got a handful of guys that come in here who are working out of their garage, and they are doing it themselves. They come in for advice, tips, sometimes parts, sometimes hard to find parts that we might have. Instead of like charging these guys a boatload of money for some of these hard to find parts, we have them and we're not using them. I'd rather see them used.
Yeah.
I just kind of hand them up to the guy, hey, let us know how it works, however it works out. But they'll come up here and we've got the one guy comes up here. He spends at least half hour, 45 minutes every time he comes in, and we're just bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
And he's picking our brains is what he's doing about how to do certain things without coming right out and asking, and it's kind of funny because we'll just flat out tell him how it is, and he appreciates it. I think it's cool, man. That's how it grows. That's how it stays relevant. Everybody wants to know, how do we get the younger generation in? To me, you are the next generation down. You, Brett, Matt, you guys are the next generation down. And I think it's cool as fuck that you guys are still. Watch my mouth. That you guys are heavy into it. I think there needs to be more younger people getting into this stuff, and I don't know how to drive them into it, other than answering questions for them and trying to keep them entertained with what we do. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't.
For us, I mean, we're definitely trying to achieve the same thing. Younger generations, getting them into it. You know, for me, I mean, a lot of this type of stuff really took off more for me once I was in high school, and you know, I was driving, had my own car that I could cut up and screw up.
Yeah,
and
that's where it starts.
You know, so now we're starting to do as much as we can with high schools. You know, and so far it just kind of started with getting invited back to my high school.
Yeah.
We've done it twice now. So we brought one truck out to the auto shop program, and you know, got to display it, let the kids look at it, do a little demonstration, kind of presentation. See, she's got a lot to say.
She's got a lot to say. She's getting ready to go to work.
Gave them a good presentation, explained, you know, kind of what we do and what put us into it, and you know, there's no rule book to building custom anything really. I mean, it doesn't matter. Motorcycles, cars, kitchen cabinets.
Cut it, chop it, do it, and
Yep.
hope for the best.
Make it cool, and
Yeah.
you know, somebody's going to be interested. So, trying to get the kids intrigued, you know, we find something as appealing as we can. You know, we brought Tessa's International out.
Yeah.
Let them see
That's
that.
a cool
and,
truck.
They got a kick out of it, and we got invited back. So we just did a career day with them a couple weeks ago, and it was a similar presentation. And probably half the students that were sitting in the group actually had a pretty good interest in it. They were asking good questions, and you know, a few of them, you know, I'd like to ask how many of them ever plan on opening their own business, their own shop, anything like that. And usually quite a few hands go up, and you know, I kind of tell them, just learn from everybody that you can.
Yeah.
You know,
Ask questions, man. Ask as many as you can.
Yep. The level you're looking to go to is where you need to be, you know, looking as well.
Awesome. How'd it feel going back to the 2-year-old high school, man?
It's definitely
it's
weird.
been a minute.
Yep,
So
yep. Been a little bit, but no, it was cool. They the students enjoyed it. It seemed like, and you know, if one of those kids ends up doing something similar to what I'm doing,
You did
I feel like I did my job there.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, did you just go, or did any of the guys from your crew go along?
The first time it was me and Kyle. We both went, and
We threw a sock. We threw a shoe.
the first time we both went, and second time it was just me. We've just been so busy at the shop that you know, really didn't have a ton of time to be able to get everybody out for it. But it's good, and I'm definitely looking to do more of it.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to expand to, you know, other schools, local high schools out this way, even further down towards us, and you know, really anywhere that is willing to try to help these kids get into this type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Try and help them get out there and pique their interest in it for sure. If anybody's got any questions as we're going along, you can hit it on Facebook. I don't know if we can see it on YouTube, but you can hit it on Facebook. If you got questions for Nick, Brett will shout them out.
I could
let
see it
us
on
know,
Facebook.
okay, Matt can see it on
Tess,
Facebook.
Tess did say that her two favorite people were on. Thank you very much,
Thanks.
Dan.
I mean, we
You know, I don't know,
appreciate
we
the
don't
shit out
know
of
who
that.
these two are, but thank you.
Thanks for letting Eleanor come and hang out with me. Man,
What do you think?
I feel off the cliff right now. That's awesome. So let's get into branding, man. You know we brand the shit out of everything with
Yep.
the CSC Hater Made Industries, the Shy South Customs, the Blue Collar Pimps, all that good stuff. What are you guys doing, branding wise? I see the cool logo T-shirt. It's explosive customs on the back, so it's.
We're not nearly doing enough, that's for sure.
We're here to help.
You know, we're starting to do some hats. Finally, you know, decided to start getting that going again. We do a little bit of, I mean, you guys see it every now and then. We try to do something with some shirts and run kind of some sort of a merch sale, and but I don't put nearly enough focus into that. You know, the branding. One thing with our branding is a lot of the parts that we're starting to make. It's all stuff that we use just on the cars that we're building.
Yes.
But you know, we're starting to make sure that the brand is out there.
You guys are fabricating more and more parts for your air suspensions and
Yep.
stuff like that, right?
Yep.
So that's cool stuff, man. I know I've been to the shop. The plasma table is always doing something. Kyle is always coming up with some crazy idea. Kyle's the guy with the push broom mustache. We call it the poon broom. But yeah, it's awesome. They've always got something going.
Yep.
It's amazing when you walk into the shop and just see the tooling and everything's working. And again, they're another 3-man shop, right?
Yeah. Currently 3-man shop. It's myself, my younger brother, and we've got one body guy in there.
Body paint.
I'd have to say phenomenal crew. I mean, it's, you know,
I agree.
I enjoy.
Really? Really? Are you just pimping Dad right now? You telling us all about him? Tasty magazine.
She'll be in there eventually.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Her favorite toy right now is a little beetle, so it's awesome.
Once
You got
she's
the
in a
car
walker,
block.
once she's in a walker, right?
If you're in a walker, you can hold a block.
Make sure she's not running into anything.
Right?
But yeah, it's, you know, me and Kyle, and you know, for us, I mean, this has been something that we've done our whole lives. So
Yeah.
it was really no issue for us to decide to do it for a living together. Yeah.
How do you feel, that being said, how do you feel about bringing other people in? Do you think it's tighter because, you know, I feel like we're kind of the same way, you know? You want to bring somebody in, but you also have to keep that quality standard up. And
Yeah.
it's hard to find that.
It is. It's very hard to find it. What you try to do, and you guys do it, we do it, probably every other shop on the planet tends to do it.
Every shop.
You bring somebody in and, you know, you really have to.
Expectations are very high because of the way they sold themselves to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's, for me, what I found is, you know, the ones that come in, and certainly you want to hear what they've done. You want to know that they have some experience in, you know, whatever they're applying for. But you more or less at least want to kind of feel out how genuine they actually are. You know, are they willing to learn? Are they willing to ask questions? Because somebody that comes in and tries to say they know everything about it, they're not going to work. It just isn't going to happen.
No.
And that's, you know, for me, if I ever gave this up and had to go work for somebody else, I'd have to go in open-minded. You know, I'm not going to walk in that door and say that I know everything because I had my own business building my own cars. It's, you know, they've got their way of how they want things done, and
The learning curve is in every shop you go to. Everybody's got their specific, like, set plan on how they do things.
and even just learning the facility, you know,
Yep.
what tooling they have and how the tooling works, and you know what type of services that they offer. There might be things that, you know, these guys might have done, and they come to us, and we don't really necessarily offer that type of work, but they can adapt. You know, or maybe I don't have the tooling that they were used to using, or maybe I've got better tooling than they were used to using. You know, so the learning curve portion of it, you know, they definitely have to be open to.
The tooling part is just an ongoing battle because there's something new coming out all the time, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with the trends, and when I call them the shop in the box, all these big shops, big name shops that are out there. I call them shop in the box. Primarily, I come from the auto body industry, so they're just a bunch of shops all grouped together in a big line. And they all have the same tooling, the same everything all the way across throughout the entire shop. And it doesn't matter if it's here or if you go out of state, they have the same damn tools that you use here.
Yep.
So it's easy for them to do. When independent shops, we're buying the tooling that best suits our needs. We might not be buying
budget.
Budget, right? We're budget minded because we're a small shop, and we're buying the stuff we know works. Sometimes it's hard to get the guys to work with those tools because they're used to the best of the best, and we can't afford the best of the best. It's not that we can't afford it. It's that we're a little smarter with our money, and making stuff work is what it is. So stuff like that, it's a challenge, no doubt.
I mean, there's even, there's some big name hot rod shops that, could be used as prime examples of, you don't necessarily need the best of everything either. There's a lot of guys that, they work their way up no matter what, and they make it work. I mean, there's some basics that, once you understand how to shape a piece of metal,
Yeah.
You can do it a million different ways.
Like,
it's just
your guys like me who second guess myself every step of the way and end up calling you like, Dick, what the fuck, I can't do this, man. I'm having an attack. He comes over and goes, dude, it's just metal. We'll do another piece if it doesn't work out. I'm like, I hate you. I really seriously hate you. But it works every time.
Screw it up, do it again. That's
Yep.
it. That's all it takes. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, tell me. Too funny. So we're going on to with the branding. I know you guys want to do more. You got to do more. We'll help out however we can. I'm constantly showing you new shit that we're coming out with. You're like, dude, that's badass. We should do something like that. Do it. That's the whole thing.
Shows and stuff together. We've been to a couple shows
Oh,
together.
yeah.
And it's always a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Which I think we
We're
definitely need to
got
get
one
back out
coming up
together.
that we're actually going to do together.
Yep.
You guys are hosting. Well, you guys are part of hosting Heroes and Hot Rods. It's coming up in what, May?
It'll be June 1st.
June 1st.
Yep.
So Heroes and Hot Rods. That's going to be in Mantino.
Yep.
Mantino,
it's,
Illinois.
Veteran operated organization that puts on the entire event. Project Headspace and Timing runs the whole event. They've got something for everybody. It's turning into a big family festival, which is awesome. I mean, it's been family oriented from the get-go, but it's drawing a huge crowd. This is our third year helping. There's a lot of other hands that are in with, even just the car show portion of it. I mean, we've probably got 6 people involved in making the car show do what it's got to do. And the day of, we've probably got 15 or better that are keeping the whole thing moving. The whole event, it's got its own board members, and everybody's in charge of something. It's got a great barbecue competition going on.
Nice.
It's got bands that are going to be playing. There's all sorts of vendors that'll be out there. There's craft vendors, and this year we're introducing some automotive vendors that'll be involved with the show, so people can come out and advertise their own business, and
Have fun.
that's it.
Oh yeah. So the automotive show, there's going to be motorcycles there, obviously, stuff like that. So we're going to go out and play, and I don't think we're going to compete. We're just going to go out and play and pimp our brand, which is what we're doing. But it'll be cool, and have fun with it, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun getting out there.
So, Janice asked, where do you guys see yourselves in 5 years?
Wow, that. Thanks, Jen.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Happy birthday, by the way.
Hey, yeah,
Happy birthday,
Jan. 5 years. My goal in 5 years is definitely to kind of trim back the amount of projects that we, take in and work on. We talk all the time about trying to find the ideal client. So we try to, we want to try to refine what we're doing, continue to grow our skills, get really, really good at our style, our lane, and, run with it. you know, early on, I think I had a dream of, you know, this huge, enormous facility with, you know, 100 people working for me and
Man,
you know, all
lights
sorts of
like you
stuff,
wouldn't
and just-
believe.
Yeah, and that gets really tough. That's something that I really don't think that I want anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like that's like a facade. You know, you look at some of these guys, some of these big time builders, and you just automatically think, right? They got these monster shops, and then you might go out and you're like, hold on, it's that little place.
But
And
we-
they're putting these cars
Yeah.
out of this little place. you
We've
know?
talked to builders that have these monster shops, and the best part about it is they have the same freaking problems we have.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not about how big your shop is and how many employees you have. The same problems arise for them that arise for us. They just have more heads to throw in the pool to figure out a solution.
Yep.
Or we're down to you got you and your two guys, us and our two guys, and that's what it is.
Yep.
It's like, okay, well, we do a fairly good job of figuring all this stuff out, but those guys, man, it's always good to talk to the bigger shops, the bigger builders who will give you the time of day.
Mhm.
You talk to those guys, they're just like we are. They're forthcoming with information. So it's pretty cool community.
Yeah.
I guess. So yeah.
I guess for 5 years would be for me, you know, keep it smaller. You know, we definitely need a few more people, and we, you know, we definitely want to continue to have the work to feed a few more people.
Mhm.
But ideally, I'd like to focus a lot on, you know, parts and products, and you know, be able to start offering, you know, parts that A, other shops can use, and B, you know, the garage guys that are building stuff for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, if you can offer something that they don't have the tooling at home in their garage to necessarily create, you know, they need a certain number of brackets. You know, you can make all those brackets and give those to them, and it cuts a ton of time down for them. Still going to take some fabrication skill. They still have to weld.
Yeah.
They still got to fit things. They might have to trim them. You know, whatever they have to do. But it gets them that much closer. You know, so that's more my goal, is to kind of gear things a little bit more towards the parts and products, and you know, continue building. I just want to build really cool stuff out of the shop. And
Well, it's another revenue stream then to allow you to do that, right?
Yeah.
Your whole parts manufacturing is one revenue stream, merchandise is one revenue stream, and obviously the builds and the actual work is another revenue stream. So if you have all these other revenue streams going out, you can focus on, I really want to do this one,
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So expansion, you guys think you're hit your peak, or are you gonna expand one more time, or maybe
I don't know. I mean, I guess,
it's always on the horizon.
yeah.
Always
How
on the
big- how
horizon
big
as far
is
as
your shop?
expansion goes.
Square footage wise.
Currently, we're right at about 10,000 square feet.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's a big shop. I
We
mean,
got a lot of
it's, you are double what we are. You know, walking into your shop and seeing what you guys have in there, we're like, wow, holy shit, we wish.
And you
And that's
use
where
up every square foot of that.
Oh,
shop.
man, every square inch
Yep.
has got,
Yeah, there's either a piece of equipment. Every open spot's got a piece of equipment, or you know, a portion of a project that's getting done, and you know, that's a big part of wanting to simplify some of that. Yeah, tell them all about it. But you know, simplifying
it's like baby
kind
toys.
of how
Start
much we
having
have
baby
going
toys.
on would be huge, and you know, really just trying to focus on high-end projects, and then you know, some of that. I mean, obviously the feeder work is great,
Yeah,
keeping the bills paid,
Oh, yeah.
keeping the lights on and stuff, with you know, some of the quick in and out stuff. But if we could really, if we could really focus on, you know, I guess the higher end builds, and you know, the stuff that the customer's as excited to do as we are.
Mhm.
And then we travel with it and have some fun and
get it out there to the
get out to
different
more
events
shows
and.
yeah, exactly.
So
Hang out with them.
do you ever make your clients sign anything saying you have like rights to that vehicle? You do a full build, you have rights to that vehicle, meaning they can take delivery on it, but
If a certain
They
show
have to
pops
make
up
it
that you wanna go to, make it available. I mean, understanding everybody's schedule is different.
No, I mean, that hasn't been something that we've put under contract. But that also goes along with, you know, the ones that we have taken to shows and the ones that, you know, encourage us to take the vehicle to shows. They're as excited to do the car as we are, so it's really no issue.
It's
You
a
know, it's always been
no-brainer.
a situation where they say, hey, even if I'm not available, you know, come and get it, take it with you, take it to that event. And, you know, I prefer they come with.
Oh, yeah.
It gets them out, they get to meet people,
Oh, yeah.
they get to tell people about the project and what it meant to them and why they had the car done. And, you know, you
It
never know
helps.
who you're gonna meet wandering around the shows.
Free marketing,
Yep.
right there. That's what it's all about. Word of mouth is huge for our smaller shops.
Yep.
So yeah, that goes back to branding and advertising, I guess, but
And I mean,
It's,
and that's good. Winning awards is good, right? We don't build bikes to win awards. That's not why we do it. It's nice to build a customer's bike or build a customer's car, and you see the enjoyment that that customer is winning awards with, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I feel like for us, it's kind of like a notch in our belt, but we don't specifically do it to win awards.
No.
I think in the car world, it might be a little bit different. If you're building a car like for the Riddler, right? I mean, you're building it to win that award.
that's a
or
whole
the-
different category though.
Or the Cup at World of Wheels. You know, you're building it for that.
And yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I do know that there's a few awards that I would like to
Go
you know,
after.
yeah, but one day. And that, again, that takes, you know, finding the right person that wants to get involved to do a project like that. But,
It leads us into who is our ideal client.
well, and that's, simplest way to put it. That's somebody that, you know, they might have an idea of what they want. They're not gonna micromanage.
Yes.
They really kind of want to treat the vehicle as a piece of art, and they're gonna work alongside, you know, us as the builder to get the car done and, you know, take the car and show it and enjoy it. And to me, I don't really care about the awards and stuff either. I mean, that's, you know, we've had a couple things that have done, you know, okay. They've won awards at different shows, and you know, they're great. But the stuff that tends to win is the stuff that you seem to enjoy building the most.
Yep.
Over, you know, something that, you know, you can go into a project and say, you know, we're going to chase this award at this show at this date, and you know, you start building it, you start going after that award, and you know that's what you're going to do, and everybody involved in the project's at each other's throat,
Yes.
and nobody's having fun because it's not, it just wasn't, you know, it wasn't a passion project, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
It was
right.
just something that, you know, you said, yeah, this is what we need to do to try to chase this award, and this is what, you know, we tend to know that the judges are looking for, and it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I know he's watching right now. One of my favorite builds through the shop was the Fingster.
Oh my God, yeah.
Dean
I want a cool
is
bike.
the owner. He's
Do your
watching.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Dean.
he had an idea. And I think at some point, about halfway through, I think I actually told Dean,
You
at
did.
what point did you think you had a say in this? Right? And he was like, okay, he was like, I want cool.
Mhm.
You guys have the idea. And yeah, he threw ideas in that he thought was cool, and we incorporated it. And it's like you work together and you start seeing the bike come along. And I think there was times during that one that
I mean,
we may have told him, hey, Dean, I don't think this is going to work on the bike. Or he may have told us, you know, I thought about this, I'm not really liking that. And we agree, because as the bike or as the car's being built, you might see different things that you envision that's going to look cool, but maybe not on this one.
Yeah.
Well, Mom's watching.
So, I mean,
That's
for me,
funny.
I think that's the ideal client, like you said, someone that'll work with you, that's not hounding you all the time, that wants something cool, understands a little bit about what it takes to fabricate parts, You know, obviously, everyone watches TV, and it's half hour, an
Yeah,
hour
yeah.
episode.
I don't even know how
That
we've
car
been
is
doing.
not built in that half hour, that hour episode, you know. And I think sometimes people kind of take that for granted that, oh, you're not working that fast on my stuff, and oh, we got to wait for parts to come in, and we got to wait for this to come in. I mean, do you run into that a lot, where
Oh, definitely. It's
a customer comes in and it's like, hey, well, what's going on? I mean, why are you working on that car, not on my car? And
that'll definitely happen, you know, and it's you know, we try to keep everybody in the loop,
Yeah.
you know, and let them know, hey, this is, you know, we're waiting on this, we're waiting on that. As soon as we get these, so that we can finish this portion of the vehicle, start to finish, so that we're not, you know, stopping mid-task, you know, then we'll pick back up on it. With 3 people, you know, it is definitely tough. You got to juggle a lot of different jobs.
Challenging, to say the least.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's tough to do. But really, I mean, really everybody everybody we've been working with, everybody's been great, and they all seem to be as, you know, right now everybody.
Dedicated to what we're doing here. Everybody's dedicated to the brand, and I think that's badass.
Yep. Yeah, customers and
Yeah.
you know, employees, and you know, everybody's enjoying what we're working on right now, and everybody's happy about it. None of the projects go as fast as you'd like them to, no matter what.
No.
You know, I don't think anything is ever actually completed.
On time?
I wouldn't
Well-
necessarily say on. I mean, yeah, it's tough. You know, when you run into, you know, whatever issues you may run into, but it's everything ends up taking longer than you initially planned, no
Yeah.
matter what as well. So,
Yeah.
and especially when you run into things like changes that, you know, the customer makes, or we have to make because something that they wanted to do isn't going to work without making other changes. And, you know, communicating that with them is the most important part of it too, to keep them in the loop, because that way they don't come in surprised and say, why isn't this portion of it done? Or why did you do this way when I wanted to, you know?
That's like something I personally lack in, when people come in and they want to change midway through the job.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, man, that's really cool. We get into the whole nuts and bolts of everything, but I never get into the extra time it's going to take us.
Yeah.
And that's something I really need to work on. I talk to you about it all the time, like, dude, I don't know why, I just don't say something, but it adds time to every build. It really does, or every job, whether it's a big build, a small build, or whatever. Eleanor's telling you guys.
Yeah.
That's the best.
She says, I'm the next generation.
I'm the next generation.
yeah, I
That's,
feel the same way. I feel like, you know, the estimating aspect of a job, you know.
And it's just an estimate. It always
I think with
goes-
custom work, right? Yes, you pay, it's custom, so you're paying more for that custom aspect, but what people don't understand is that you might book a job and you might say, okay, it's gonna take 5 hours. You get into it and it's like, okay, well, now it's gonna take me 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know, or I gotta fab this up, I'm just gonna do it 8 hours. So instead of calling the customer and saying anything like, you know, it's gonna cost you more or anything, you just do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and-
there's times that we've done stuff and it's definitely taken longer, and it's like, you know, it's a good customer, you know, guy keeps coming back and stuff like that, no problem, you know, I'll throw it in, but we charge what we charge, and knowing that there's extra hours that's always put on there, so your hourly rate actually is going down.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
With those extra hours. So, I mean, I know we do it for you guys, you know, sometimes it's a whole car. So how do you find yourself ever like, yeah, I gotta call it, you know, I gotta add more time onto this, and how do the customers usually react to that? I mean,
Everybody's usually okay with it. You know, I mean, we're never out to try to screw anybody. You know, I mean, we've all got bills to pay. There's overhead. You know, just having the business costs enough money in itself. But there are a lot of free hours, no matter what, every time. You know, and you know, when the employees are booking the hours, we still make sure they're taken care
Yeah,
of
we
on a
have
lot
to
of
pay
that.
for it.
And, you know, and then there's certainly times too that, you know, the guys might do something that they tell me, you know, they don't even tell me that they didn't book that time, you know, they didn't.
Oh, I got you, yeah, we're going over and beyond.
Yep, and
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest portions of it too, you know, if you're in the middle of building something, you know, especially like a paint job,
Yeah,
you know, your mid-paint job, there's something that needs to be done, you know, maybe a stripe design that you're doing you didn't quite like, and you want to change that up a little bit because it'll flow better or it'll look better. You're almost done with something, and you're not going to call the customer and say, you know what, I'm going to add another 3 hours to this.
no,
You
no,
just
no.
do it.
Just do
And
it.
when it's
Yeah.
done, they're happy. And you know, most of the time, you never even tell them that you made a change to it, that they got a bunch of free time. They don't understand a lot of that, and
Yeah, you never
You
say
get a lot of
anything,
them
you
that do
don't even have to
appreciate it.
imply it, some people notice, some don't.
Yep.
As far as what you said, changing paint jobs on the fly, or changing stuff up in the booth when I'm going, or you're going, or whoever's going, I do that a lot. And it's me, you think you laid out the perfect design, and then you do it and you look at it and you're like, all right, it's really not the perfect design. I need to add this, and this to it, and that's what you do. I talked to the pinstripe guys, the community, pinstripers and artists and stuff like that, and everybody's the same way. There's always that added flair that they put into it, that you weren't expecting. We see it on our end, and we just hope the customer, see it too.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It's not like anything we're gonna find out. It'll just be down the road, somebody be like, man, that's so cool how they did, and they're like, oh man, I didn't even notice that. That is pretty badass, but yeah, it's stuff like that, but yeah, I get it.
So do you then, I mean, as you're building, you know, there's extra hours, do you tend to keep a photo portfolio, we'll say, of everything that you're doing? Because to me, it seems like,
Are you a camera horse such
You're-
as myself, is what he's getting at.
you know, you're taking photos, some people want that, you know, for if they're putting together a build book to show everything, the progression of it. But do you ever get into the situation where people are like, well, I mean, I see the pictures, but it doesn't look like you did that much. And they don't understand that the work that went into that one piece that you had to hand make, or just a little piece.
I guess a lot of that goes to the ideal client thing that we talk about all the time,
Yes.
you know, and the communication. You know, up front, I try to lead everybody into letting them know there is a lot involved in anything that you're going to do that's custom. If it hasn't been done, if you have to, you know, create it from nothing, there's no set guidelines on a lot of this type of stuff. There's no rule book on it.
There's no rule
And-
book on anything.
You know, you obviously want to do it to the best of your ability and get it done in a timely manner. But at the same time, you can't guarantee, you know, if you guys are building a tank for a bike, you can't tell them it's, you know,
3 days.
yeah, it's no problem. I can build this tank in, you know, 3 days, or even, you know, break it down into hours. You know, oh, it's 15 hours to shape, you know, this tank, and you know, it may not be.
No,
You know, that's-
metal has a
nowadays,
memory.
You could go out and buy one for.
Yeah, exactly. You buy a tank for
cheaper,
$100
yeah,
or a couple $100, like,
I
And
think
then
a lot of the
modify one if you have
aftermarket,
to.
yeah, a lot of the aftermarket companies have taken that away from us
Mhm.
to be able to custom make a tank and actually charge what it costs to make that tank.
Yeah.
I mean, it's astronomical, you know, $2,000 gas tank, or go online and get one for $200.
And we really are moving into the age of automation. I mean, everything's so automated now. Everything's so
dude,
easy to mass produce.
I'm a fucking dinosaur in this industry, I know it. Technology has gone so freaking far past me.
How were those dinosaurs, by the way?
Short hairs. But yeah, it's,
The technology with, you know, with any of it though, I think it definitely has its place, and it's great. You know, it is good to see that, you know, you can utilize a lot of it, but I still think
well,
some of the best stuff tends to have a lot of handcrafted work done to it. You know,
we never had computers. Now we've got a computer system sitting right over there that I can plug right into your bike and talk to it.
Yeah.
Well, I can't talk to it.
Can't talk
Brett
to a
talks to
carburetor.
it. Yeah, no, you can't talk to a carburetor. It ain't gonna
Yes,
listen.
you can.
Yeah, I know.
Who you bullshitting?
Yeah, yeah. definitely. But yeah, it's stuff like that that I'm talking about. How far technology has come.
So how do you guys balance your family life versus work life?
That's a tough one.
Who asked that?
Nancy Weems.
Nancy, I love you.
That's a very tough one. You know, I feel like since I've been at it, you know, a lot of the travels that we've even done have been, you know, there's been some sort of a show involved with it, you know, trying to, you know, my wife is great at finding something to do anywhere we go. If we travel to a show, you know, we usually try to make sure that there's a portion of that time that we're out of town for that show that we go do something.
Yeah,
And,
we do too.
you know, especially now with her, I mean, that's something that, you know, I personally need to work on. The balance is not as good as it needs to be. It's getting better now, definitely, but when you run a business, any business, it tends to consume a lot of your time. And even when you are at home, there's a lot of times when, you know, you're thinking about the things you should have done or you forgot to do, or, you know, questioning, did you call this one and update them? Did you finish this invoice? Did you make sure the guys had what they needed? Did you order this? Did you order that?
I did it yesterday. A guy called up like, and he was supposed to call me back yesterday, and I'm like, oh shit. I got sidetracked and I had to hurry up and rush through another estimate to get it done. It was done right, but yeah. Home life balance, I struggled with it. I'm not gonna bullshit you. You know, I struggled with it for years. Hours here versus hours at home. The cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
We had to get our cell phone numbers out of our clients' hands.
That was business mistake number one. Do not put your personal cell phone number on your business.
That's my advice for anybody wanting to start a business. Get a separate phone number.
We thought it was awesome
but
until 10 o'clock at night when that phone number
midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. Hey, I was thinking, Jesus, well, why? Well, at 2 a.m. Why were you thinking this? But separation from the shop was 100% separating my cell phone and personal life from the shop is what it was.
Yeah.
Does your shop life get involved in your personal life? Constantly. There's not a local establishment that my wife and I can go to and sit down without, because I'm so prominent on Facebook and everything else, and now we're doing this podcast and everything else that we do, we're heavy into the show circuit, so we kind of backed off of that and we're getting back into it. There's not a place that you can physically go to in your own area that people don't know who the fuck you are. They all want to come up and ask, hey, I know you guys are sitting down and getting ready to eat, but it's like, hey, you know what, I try and tell them, hey, I'm out with my wife, we're just trying to have a good time and grab a bite to eat. We can talk later though, for sure. And they're always like, no, I understand that, I really appreciate that, but they just keep going. It's my fault, it's 100% my fault. So we find ourselves traveling outside of our comfort zones or outside our local area to find food or find things to do and try and keep it down with the phone calls at home, the text messaging at home, the face-to-face contact with people. Brett's got a big old shit-eating grin on his face. I see a slam coming right at Matt.
I see it.
But yeah, that for me. That's what
I'm not paying good attention.
I had to separate the phone from the house and getting those phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning. Bro, I'm drunk at a bar and you're the only one I know at the trailer. Can you come and pick me up? Like, no, don't drink so much. But yeah, it's that was part of it for me. So what do you got?
What?
Yeah, Keith's gonna send me intimate pictures.
Oh,
later on.
Oh.
Balancing home life and that is, I mean, for me, it's tough. I have another full-time job. I have 4 kids at home. My wife is a saint. So
that's an understatement.
Weren't you supposed to get snipped after the first one?
Yeah, I gotta make that appointment. So
shit. I got a pen and a pocket knife. Let's get it going on live.
It's hard. It's hard with kids, especially as they get older, involved in school, involved in sports. I mean, I'm changing. I change at the shop sometimes because I got to go to softball practice. Yesterday we had hitting practice with the kids, and I'm changing here. It's tough. I think it's easier to come in early.
Oh, I know it is.
You come in the shop early because hey, they're sleeping still. I could get up at 5:30 in the morning and come in.
There's times I'm here at 5 in the morning just so I can get something done because the
Well,
chaos
yeah.
throughout the day
That's the
holds
nice
you out
part,
of what
too.
you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you try and stay late at night, we've also got people who will drive by. Even though everybody says we're off the beaten path, they drive by and see it, one of our vehicles, our bikes or whatever sitting here, they shoot in. And that can turn into an hour like that.
Yeah.
In the blink of an eye.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's that's all part of work and life balance again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am looking
Cutting
forward
back on
to-
the hours was crazy.
I'm looking forward to balancing it, even more. I mean, obviously, I hope that she'll want to be involved in what I do.
You want me?
But
Is that what you want?
say hello.
She's like, you big bearded guy.
I would
What's
hope
up,
that she
kiddo?
wants to be involved in what I do. But if she's not,
We'll do it.
that's
we'll do a
okay
variety
too. And
of
I'm
her.
looking forward to being whatever dad she's into. She's, I don't know, she may end up into soccer or something. And I'm gonna be a soccer dad. It's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I really,
It'd be
really
the
am.
coolest minivan out there, buddy.
That's how we're not doing.
Oh
minivans.
yeah, hot rod station wagons.
That's where we draw the line. No minivans.
No
Little
minivan.
nomad wagon.
We can do that.
You get my first wrench set for this little girl here. Oh, my first spray gun. I'm gonna teach you how to paint. You hang out with the cool cats?
Let's
You want
see.
that
back
back?
here.
Okay.
Do we have any advice to people that are looking to build a bike or car? What's your best advice to give someone if they're looking to do this kind of work?
My best.
Not
advice
not do the kind of work, but maybe have one built.
I would say coming into it with at least a somewhat of an image for your end goal, what you're looking for. It always helps to sit down and have that talk with the builder that you're looking to have it done with, and definitely have those conversations with the builders. Call around,
Yeah.
call shops, talk to different shops. I encourage anybody that calls us, shop around.
You might not be comfortable with me, but you might be comfortable with our friend's shop.
That's it.
It's all in how.
And even if we don't know the shop, they might call us, they might call 10 other builders.
Absolutely.
And, one of them's bound to be a fit, but, do your own homework, use your better judgment, and, make sure that, the place you're getting involved with is going to be the best fit for the style that you're looking to go for.
Yeah. 100%.
That's it. It doesn't hurt my feelings when somebody doesn't, come to us for something. They might call, we might do a couple things. Usually, we do some work for them and they keep coming back.
Sure.
But, there's times we'll talk to people and we may never hear again. I know they're gonna shop around and that's okay. We can't finish every single job on the planet. There's so
No.
much work to go around, and there's, with how many shops there's still not enough shops to get all the work done that's available
It
out there.
doesn't seem to be. It really doesn't seem to be.
I think with like what you said, doing your homework and shopping around too. I mean, gives people an idea,
Mhm.
right, of how much this is going to cost. You're not going to get a $5,000 motor for $500.
No.
So they're coming in as well with a idea of okay, it's going to cost me this much money and around this much money.
Yep.
So their expectations aren't blown when they think, oh, it's $2,000 job, and you get your estimate for $12,000. I think that's a key to it too. If you're planning on having a bike built or a car built or even just work done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and anything that you're looking to do a complete project, whether it's a bike or a car, plan on spending some money. I mean, it's, the more in depth you go and the more custom you want to go, really the more money it is going to cost.
Dollar amount goes up quick.
Yep.
And I think that we talked about this earlier. Plan on spending more than that because you're going to see the quality of work and you're going to add stuff and you're going to want more. You're going to make it one more cooler.
One more
And,
cooler. Always one more better.
And I think a lot of places get a misconception, or a lot of people get a misconception of, you know, what a hot rod shop, you know, might, the owners and the employees and things like that, you know, usually there's something cool sitting in the parking lot no matter what.
Yeah.
There's always something cool
But-
somewhere.
That doesn't necessarily mean that that person's just, you know, shoveling money in a briefcase somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, that they're not telling.
Where's that
everybody
briefcase
about.
at? I
Yeah,
need-
I'd
I
like
need
to
one of
find it.
those.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
right, I'll bring the shovels.
So, you know, it's, you know, even some of the best shops out there, you know, I mean, I've had great conversations with, you know, some of the best guys in the industry
Yeah.
at the very top level, and none of them are raking in, you know, any sort of serious amount of money. They work for a living, they care about what they do, and it shows in the work that they do, and it shows in the, you know, the whole atmosphere of their facility and their employees, and, you know, so I guess, I mean, that's something to look into when you're
That's-
checking into these shops. You know, are all the employees, you know, I guess a reflection of the company? You know, do they take their job seriously? Do they care about what they do? You know, my place, I don't care if any of the clients come in and have conversations with the guys.
No, I don't
You know,
either.
they can come in and ask them questions about what, you know, the vehicle they're working on for them, and they're able to, you know, answer majority of those questions, you know, because they're the ones that are putting their hands on it, they're the ones that are getting that job done for them, and so they tend to build a relationship with our, you know, with our employees as well, which is great. So
So
for
it's
us,
more
that's-
passion. It's
Yeah.
more passion than money.
Yep.
And that's the thing that I want to ask the guys who have the larger shops, like a Foos or a Kendig or anybody like that. Like, man, you guys got so many employees. How do you manage all that? How do you keep everybody upbeat doing all this stuff? And it seems like every time somebody different from the shop is on, obviously we watch them on camera. So when somebody different's on camera, they're always upbeat about what they do. There's not really a whole lot of animosity going between the shops.
No.
I think it's cool as hell that they do that, but that's a lot of people, man. I don't know if I'd be a good fit for something like that. To have that many people that I'd have to remember a lot of names.
Well, and having a big facility and more employees, you know, that comes with, you know, now you've got to have more management, and you have to trust that management, and then more people on top of that means, you know, you run the risk of, you know, things getting stolen, things
Yes.
disappearing. You know,
Yeah.
that's a very common thing. in
But,
most
or not
places.
equipment, but consumables, sandpapers,
materials, yeah.
material.
Jesse James, look at him. He said he went out and hired all his friends.
Yeah,
You know, and then
yeah.
how many guys did he say he had? He had over 100 people working for him when he was in Long Beach. And, you know, he said the amount of money that was walking out the door with people when they punch out for the day was just unbelievable. Taking materials, taking products, taking, you know, maybe physically taking money too, who knows? And
I watched it firsthand working in the big conglomerate shops, the big three. Body shops. I used to watch people come in with these enormous lunch boxes. Like, what the hell do you need a lunchbox that big for? Oh, it's Bondo Day. Huh? They'd stick a gallon of Bondo and hardener in their lunchbox and walk right out the door with them. Like, holy shit. Like, wow. That takes balls.
oh yeah.
A $50 can of Bondo, you're willing to put your job in the line for something like that?
But then you get to sit down with, you know, somebody who runs a large business like that, and they write theft right into their budget. Which,
Yeah.
that doesn't make it okay,
No.
but it's sad that, you know, you get that big, you have no choice but to you automatically know somebody's gonna start taking stuff.
And that's
So keeping it small, keeping it tight, keeping it family, you know, we build a great relationship with our clients. You guys build a great relationship with yours.
we try.
And
yeah.
so everybody's on the same field, and everybody has an understanding. And, you know, any of the guys need anything, you know, if it's here.
Just come up and ask.
Exactly.
Just
That's
come
the
up
way
and
it is.
ask. That's how we do it. Just come up and ask us. When we had more guys working for us, they would always ask me about employee discounts and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, I mean, we're dealers. Like, we can help you out, for sure.
Yeah.
With stuff like that. But yeah, it's all about the same stuff.
Yeah. We try and take care of everybody.
Hell yeah. I want to see these. What? In front of the. I said that. I already said that, Doug. I was gonna put the rugs on the floor that said KUSTOMZ and have Brett lay on them with the computer in front of him. Like, we got a giant picture of Brett, or not Brett, but of a Sasquatch
Well,
Bent the
Brad.
beaver. Yeah.
Well, Brad.
Yeah. That's, I said that, that's funny shit. But yeah, it's all good. Eleanor's getting a little crazy. She wants back in her chair, so he'll be right back, guys. But hey, while we got a little bit of free time here, find Explosive Customs on YouTube, find them on Facebook, give them a like and follow. I'm not sure what, you guys are on Instagram, I'm sure. Find them on there and give them a like and follow. And follow along with these guys because it's super cool dudes. Family owned business, another small shop like us who gives back to the community, gives back to all kinds of stuff, and tries to help out the little guy next to him. So I think that's badass all the way through. You guys and Explosive and Shy South. I mean, we've worked together for eight years now.
Yeah, and you guys opened up, what, about a year and a half probably before I did.
Yeah.
And then we came down to town, and then I think we actually probably found out about each other through the auto parts store.
I think
probably
so.
More than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I think we were ordering parts on your account for a while.
Maybe.
No.
Yeah,
Never know.
Yeah, we're with those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it was cool. We made an introduction or whatever, and then we just started. We're like, dude, we're in the same boat. Small business is small business. If you guys need anything, call us. If we can help, we will.
Yeah.
You guys were the same way with us. It's just been a cool relationship all the way through. Everybody kind of treats everybody like family, back and forth. The screwing around that we do, I'm a bit over the top sometimes, but
Keeps it fun.
I get a little. I like to have fun, keep everybody laughing, and keep moving on. These guys have their own special brand of fucking with me constantly, so it's pretty cool.
Well, and contacts too.
Oh,
You know,
sharing contacts.
I mean, George Mackart
Oh
Glass
my
is
God,
on here.
yeah,
George
George
is
is
a great
awesome.
guy. George, I think he gets in his car and just drives to both shops. He loves it.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
does
wanna have George
phenomenal
on.
glass work.
Somebody sent me a thing about having George on the podcast and said he's a real Renaissance man. I'm like, man, there are so many different levels of that guy that people don't even know. Just a cool dude to talk to. The stories that he has. I could go on for hours. We will definitely have George back. We'll have George on.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys will have him on.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt.
Help him out.
I'd love to do something, with watching him make some glass and everything as well.
Yeah. So for people watching that don't know, we're talking about George Mackhart. He owns Mackhart Glass. He does blown glass,
Mm-hmm.
rolled glass.
I think I got a piece of
We've got it on our motorcycle that we did for a build off. We've got a piece on the desk. We've got stuff up on the shelf.
He did a bud vase for my dad for the hot rod he's building.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the kind of guy that George Mackhart is. Okay. We were building the Franken chopper, and he came in and he saw us heating up that dragon tail with a torch, and he says, "No, this ain't gonna work."
What the hell is wrong
And
with
we're
you
like,
guys?
"What do you mean it's not gonna work? You're not gonna get it hot enough." His ovens for his glass were not on at the time.
He built
He
one.
said he was rebuilding the one. He goes, "Give me a few days." He fired up, got that thing up to temperature. I don't even know how hot it was. And he said, "Come on, guys, bring it over." We actually twisted that dragon tail at his shop with his ovens that he turned on early, specially for us, because he knew we had to get that done. These are the kind of guys that we like to work with in the industry. They see the end goal and they're like, whatever we can do to help you out, let's do it. And I think that's the kind of guys we are, and that's the kind of guys we like to surround.
Yeah.
Surround ourselves with, yeah, for sure.
And again, that goes back to the professionalism side of things too. I mean, I try to be professional everywhere I go. You never know who you're going to meet, where you're going to meet them.
I do not.
Everybody knows how you are.
I know.
He's a teddy bear.
He's a big goofball.
But I moved into town. We bought our house, and then I was looking for somewhere to get a haircut, and he owned the hair studio, and so I get in, get my haircut. Come to find out, he's related to an old neighbor that I had growing up, and he's into cars, and conversations keep going, and then I kept going back and getting my haircut, and find out that he's into the glass and all of that, and then, that's it. I mean, we've had a great friendship ever since.
Ever since, yeah. We met him through you.
Yeah, that's how we
Yeah,
met.
yeah.
We met George through you, and looking back, it's hilarious because you wouldn't think there's so many layers of that guy. Just the life that he's lived, the stories that they have. Him and his wife both, great people, man. Holy shit, are they cool people.
Yep.
But we tend to meet in the industry that we're in, the industry you guys are in. We tend to meet some of the coolest people on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a real cool story. We're always willing to listen and add our little tidbits here and there. We don't know if ours are cool or not, but we do it anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what we always say. We're just out to build something cool. We just like building cool shit, and we're pretty fortunate about what we get to work on.
And the cross promotion and helping shops.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Kevin's on, Kevin Sockwell.
Kevin Sockwell,
He's
what's going
on,
on?
Brian
Kevin?
Barber, you know, these guys, they own shops down in Texas.
Yeah. Sinners and Saints, and Kevin's got Legacy.
Kevin's got a lot
Kevin's got
going
a lot,
on.
man.
Kevin's
Kevin's
got a
got
lot.
Legacy Bike Works, American Drag Seats, Orion Metal Works, and The Grind.
And the grind.
And the grind.
You met them, you got to hang out with them and talk and do all that cool stuff. So really cool people that we've met along the way, and they're in different states. So we stay in contact with a lot of guys throughout states.
Talk business stuff. If they're going through something that maybe we've been through before.
Same thing, man. We talk business. We brag on each other. We bullshit each other. We have a lot of fun, and just keep it going that way. So it's really cool.
And push each other. And
Yeah,
push
oh
each
my
other
God.
to do better. I actually saw Kevin talking about pushing people to do better. He posted his rattle can paint job.
Oh, the Rattle Can Mafia.
The other day, and
I was dying when I saw it. It took
You
me
know.
all I had to not comment on that. It's
gotta
like,
do
dude,
better, brother.
you know some of the best painters in the industry, and here you are with these fucking. I got the mega shot. Look at me. What'd you tie a fucking bandana or a roll of paper towels around your face?
It actually did not
I
look
know.
that bad. It didn't look that bad.
You didn't see it in person. But I'm just busting your chops, Cobb. That's what we do.
But that's why we always say about bike builds. I mean, how do you feel about that? A true craftsman, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel that a all raw bike build off.
Matt likes it raw.
Would
He's
I
heard that
like
live.
4 kids later.
It's never too late to change.
You know, that shows true craftsmanship though, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff could be hidden with paint, Bondo.
Yeah.
Welds can be ground down and stuff like that. I feel like for a build off, a true raw bike
Mhm.
is the ultimate show of craftsmanship.
And maybe,
How do you feel about cars? I mean, you feel that, if you could build an all raw car
You did.
or an all aluminum,
yeah, aluminum would be wild. I mean, I like seeing things, you know, there's again, quite a few guys up at the top level that, you know, they'll build something and they'll show it raw for a year or 2 years as they're still building the car, and it goes along to
The progression.
different events, and and then they finish it and show it, finished, and,
Yeah.
and it's, it's even nicer then. But some people prefer them, unfinished. But it is cool to get to see that, and to do a build off that would strictly show craftsmanship would be incredible.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
using some. I mean, I guess it would be up to the builder from there, but I mean, you can use some materials that are better raw.
Like you were doing,
Yeah.
you were involved in a couple of the live builds that were going on at World of Wheels. When that was actually happening, you were involved in that. That was cool stuff to watch. It puts you on the spot, and you're out there doing your thing. But it's very entertaining to see that live, and then you've got spectators around you. Nerve-wracking, none the least, I'm sure. But
People enjoy seeing work being done. I think some under construction classes for a lot of shows would
Yeah.
be incredible as well. Getting
So-
getting to see something unfinished. You don't want to see something that's just hacked together either.
no,
But you want to see something that's going to show off the craftsmanship. And a lot of shows don't like it because they can't give awards on that type of stuff. Nobody's coming out to try to win an award. when they're not finished with something, but to show it and to give people kind of a first-hand idea of what goes into building that bike or that car, you know,
Yeah.
getting to see it before it is finished.
Yeah,
People do
exactly.
enjoy it. I've never seen it get any bad feedback from anybody that's.
Doing the raw?
Mhm.
No, I haven't either. I think it's cool because then it's giving you, as the viewer or you as whatever, you're trying to figure out what their next move is and you're trying to build it in your head on what they're gonna do
Yep.
to it. And then when it doesn't happen, you're like, oh man, I think that would be so cool. But that also gives you option to move along. Uh-oh. We got more craziness happening there?
Especially with Mike.
Oh, Keith. That's great. That's great. So yeah, we want to have Mike Keefe on too. That'll be a very entertaining show, and it's definitely not for anybody. I don't even think it's for anybody under 30.
30,
to be
for
watching.
sure.
Viewer discretion advised.
Heavily advised. It starts off with, so I was laying in bed naked with a glass of Jack Daniels and a box of Lucky Charms, touching myself, watching midget porn. We're like, Mike. But yeah, he keeps us going.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't have a whole lot more. We can keep shooting from the hip or get to work. Brett's like giving me the high sign, like,
Work time.
yeah, I gotta go to work. So man, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
You
Appreciate
did
you guys having me out.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Hopefully it helps cut those nerves a little bit.
Yeah.
And you realize it's just a bunch of people watching, but it's basically just bullshitting back and forth.
That's it. It's all conversations.
The live stuff is cool because you can just keep going with it. Nothing scripted at all. I mean, we had a little script going there, but
Yeah.
that's just generalized questions is all it was. But I definitely want to have you come back on as we progress and do all that stuff. And like I said, this is the kind of generic setup, but as we grow, it's going to get one more cooler.
That's it. That's all
So-
mine is too. So we'll work.
Hell
on it.
yeah, we'll work on that. Yeah, we'll definitely come and hang out and have fun, and I'll keep it toned down. But
Just give them you.
yeah, exactly. So hell yeah, man. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here and make it happen. So probably now I'm gonna say we'll check my schedule, but I think it's gonna be another 2 weeks. We'll work on getting another guest on. We'll get somebody else in here. Again, follow Explosive Customs. Explosive is normal. Customs with a K and a Z. Follow Explosive Customs on LinkedIn, Facebook, or not LinkedIn.
We're not on LinkedIn.
Not on LinkedIn yet. But
Facebook,
I'm pushing them.
Instagram is explosive_CEO. The new podcast we got going
Yes.
on, it's the Hot Rods and Hand Grenades podcast. It's on Instagram currently. Gonna get it onto, get it onto Facebook at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a couple other platforms as well. The plan is, we'll get that one out there and it'll be available pretty much everywhere that podcasts are
Available. Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, the one we're linking up with, I told you that thing also links to Spotify. If they don't want to watch our other ones on camera, they can at least listen to
That's it.
our deep, sexy voices. So,
Keith, you can't listen to our deep, sexy voices
Yeah,
with
that's,
Lucky Charms and that. You can't do that.
that'd be like Fruit Loops or something weird. Anyway, but yeah, man, we're gonna cut this loose, and thanks for following, thanks for watching. Keep on pimping Shots Off Customs, CSC Hater Made Industries, and Explosive Customs. Man, go find these guys online and give it up for our girl Eleanor here. She was a champ through the whole thing. Her first podcast, we're gonna do an Eleanor Variety Hour and maybe come up with a cool coloring book.
There we go.
You can pimp all your friends. How about that? How about that?
She's in.
She's like, I'm in. So, all right, guys, thanks for following. Thanks for watching. Well, we'll see you next time on Shop Guts.